I think we have two feelings. The first one is that she got the fourth mandate in a row, which is not very often in a democracy that can be achieved. She got more or less the votes as she got 2005 and 2009, but it is a setback to lose so much votes compared to the last elections. And the main backset is that this nationalist party became 12.5%. This is normal in many other countries. But we are Germans not used to that, but it's a question of consolidation that this party already split it today.
How long do you think it's going to take Mrs. Merkel to form a coalition with the Greens and the FPD?
December. That is normally so that when we have in September elections, then we will have in November, beginning of December, a government. So was it in the past, and she has said she will try to achieve the same thing.
Do you worry, though, that this is going to result in a delay to things like some of the tax cuts that were promised during the election campaign?
Look, yeah, there's a lot of reasons that this result came out, but after 12 years, and then with a weak coalition partner like the Socialists, we came in such a situation. But we have to see that on the other side, she will have a very broad majority. Mrs. May would be happy if she would have such a broad majority in Parliament as she will have after the building of the coalition. And therefore, I think there will be not a major change in German policy, and she will continue, but we have to convince our people much more that nationalistic politics is not a course which is good for Germany and Europe.
Now, you mentioned Theresa May there. Do you think now that Angela Merkel has been confirmed for a fourth term that there'll be renewed focus on Brexit in the European Parliament and in the Commission?
No, I think that was always a belief in the United Kingdom that after the German elections the Brexit strategy would be changed. I do not believe so. I think the strategy will be followed up as the 27 member countries and the institutions in Brussels have decided it. We will follow that, and there will not come from Germany now a major change in the direction of these negotiations. We want to have a constructive solution, but under clear commitments in the divorce agreement.
Do you think, though, Angela Merkel will be prepared to devote more time to it personally? I mean, it was very, very noticed in this country that during the television debate between Angela Merkel and Martin Schulz, Brexit didn't even get mentioned.
No, this was not an issue at all in the German campaign, and here in the European Union you will negotiate together jointly. The European Union has set up the chief negotiators, negotiation team. This is the responsibility of the Commission. And the hope that now the leaders will take over from the Commission, I think it's the wrong hope. They will make the judgment at which stage we should do what, when the second phase should be started. That might be in the European Council in October or what I believe in December, but she will not interfere in the details of negotiations.
So you think any attempt by the UK government to appeal over the head of Michel Barnier to the heads of government of the EU 27 is just a waste of time?
I think that is the wrong approach. The Commission is the body which has to negotiate both enlargement as Article 50. That is the rules of the European Union. It cannot be sit 27 heads of states on a table. And this is the directive, the guidelines which were decided by the 27 leaders. And there's no reason, and I talked to some of these prime ministers in the last 2-3 weeks, there's no reason to not follow this approach as this was set up jointly.
And what about the prospects for further European integration? Mrs. Merkel has promised President Macron that she would work harder to achieve this end, but her likely coalition partners in the FPD are likely to oppose such an approach, aren't they?
I think there will be I think the Liberals and the Greens will balance themselves. There will be not exactly that what President Macron want to have, but I think there's a commitment that we should continue to reform the monetary union, and I think the very important condition is fulfilled in these days because President Macron is doing these reforms in his country which we have asked for since 10 years, and therefore I think we have a very good basis to continue the basis for such a renewed monetary union.
Now, you mentioned just now that you were very worried about the performance of the AfD. How are you going to convince voters next time around not to vote for a party like this?
Look, we had in all our countries such experiences, and we had it already twice in the last 60 years, and they were not in the national parliament, in the state parliaments, and in the end they were out. You see already today, the leader of the party left the parliamentary group to set up a new parliamentary group, and it shows that this looks to be that they will not be able to fulfill a constructive policy, and with 12.5%, they have no chance at all to influence any German politics. But we have to tackle the issues more, not to become more to the right, but from the position of a democratic European government of the center, we would like to explain to our people that nationalism is always a mistake. It means always a catastrophe for Germany and our neighbors, and that we have to make it clear that such a thing cannot happen again. And I'm very confident. 12.5% is not what we cannot live with and cannot have a way to get out of that.
But yet millions and millions of Germans, even in quite prosperous parts of the country like Bavaria, have voted for a stridently anti-immigration party. Surely there are lessons to be learned from that.
Look, 12.5% have voted for it, and 87% have not voted for it. And that, I think, it's the point we have to see. This will not change German policy. We have to perhaps to communicate it in a better way, to set certain points, but that will not a principal change. We will follow our constitution and not nationalist policy.
But do you think Germany needs to take a tougher approach on controlling its borders after a result like this?
We do it already. In October 2015, 15,000 migrants came from Turkey to Europe. Now it's 50 per day. A lot of things are done. People are not aware of that. And we are working on a situation with Africa, already with some success, but it's a long, long time to do that together. It would have been nice if Britain would join us in such a policy to stop the causes of migration, but that is now another story.
So you don't think there are any implications for freedom of movement across the EU as a result of this vote?
No, that has nothing to do. Poles are not migrants from Africa or from Syria. Poles are European citizens. Therefore, we do not mix that up. And we have not such a problem with migrants from other countries as you believe to have. And because we knew the transitional period in the last decade, and therefore we will not mix it up. We have to make it clear that these are different types of migration, free movement of labor in the internal market. Then we have asylum seekers who run away from dictatorships because of they have to be afraid for their lives, or people who come from a war. But people who have no right under this asylum and war situations have no right to be here. But we have to, on the other side, we have to help that in Africa, where we have not a good development because of wrong trade policy, of climate change, of wars and others problems, that we have to do there more in order to get better governance, more stability, and then development there. And here I think we should follow more a type of African Marshall Plan the Europeans have to finance and to conduct.